One of my favorite songs ever is a song by Linkin Park. It's called In the End. And it's not just my favorite song ever, it's one of the best songs ever. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. A lot of people do not want to acknowledge the fact that there's nothing to win in this world. It's not like there's something to gain in the end. It's not like there's something that you're going to get in the end. There isn't a person that's actually going to win anything. It doesn't matter how you live your life. There's nothing that you are going to win. What we are doing as humans is actually trying to cope with life. That is what we are doing. We're not doing anything important. We are just trying to cope with life. So there's nothing to win in the end. There are no real winners. There are no real losers. We are just trying to escape suffering because life is suffering. You wake up in the morning, you're hungry, you gotta eat. You're trying to escape hunger. Hunger is suffering. You get bored. And you try to find something to do. You're trying to escape boredom. Boredom is suffering. You get lonely and want to be in a relationship. Being lonely is suffering. Everything that you are trying to do you're trying to do it because you're trying to escape suffering. So there's nothing to win in the end. You see? And that should show you that being born wasn't actually the best thing for you. Because you were brought into a trap where you constantly have to try to escape discomfort. You were born in a trap. Everyone is in a trap. Do I regret being born? I want to talk about that today. But I also want to show you that there's nothing to win. There's nothing to do. There are no winners, there are no losers. Every time before I go out to record a video, I read the comments. See if there's something that I can talk about. And today I found something that I can talk about. I found a comment from Frank. Frank commented on one of my videos where I was talking about the dangers of bringing children into a world that you don't understand. I don't really remember the title of the video, but I was talking about the dangers of having children. The comment reads as follows. The defeated man complains about not having children for the 73, 67, whatever time. Mentality that clearly shows he regrets being born but is in denial about suicide. Meanwhile, an actual go-getter passes by exercising and doing actually something with his life. Who do you think is going to win in the end? Beautiful determinism irony. Made it too as well have had a tag saying NPC and MC. Ooh. Yeah, so in the video that I'm talking about, someone passed me running, jogging, actually, just jogging. And I was talking about the dangers of, having children in a world that you don't even understand. And that's why this person wrote this comment. Who's going to win? Is it the person that's trying to do something with their lives? A person that's, a go-getter, not complaining, just trying to do something with their lives? Or is it a person that's complaining about life, complaining about being born? And that's clearly suicidal, but is in denial about it. No, I'm not suicidal. I just don't think that having children is good. Looking at the state of the world. No, that person who says that is just simply in denial. That person is clearly suicidal. Do I regret being born? If it was possible to erase myself from everyone's memories and create a new timeline where I wasn't even born, I will erase myself right now. Like right now. I wouldn't even have a problem, like at all. Like right now, when I say right now, I really mean right now. I'll just erase myself right now. At this moment, I wouldn't even think twice. I'll just be like, oh, if there was a button to press, I'll just press it right now and erase myself. Do I regret being born? No. I know this sounds contradictory, right? How can you say that you will erase yourself from everyone's memories, but you don't regret being, like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems contradictory. Here's the thing. I've already been here. I've already lived. I've already suffered. I already know how to cope. And I'm already doing something that I actually think is the right thing to do. Talking to people about what I think is happening in the world, which I think is a very important thing to do. When you are born into a world, you don't just chill and just do what you're told. You actually try to figure out what the fuck is going on. You see? I think that is actually important. You don't just try to do what you've been programmed to do. No, you think. You question everything. You try to figure out if the things that you've been programmed to do are actually good. That is very, very important. So I'm already here, and there are people who already know me. So it's fine. I don't really have a problem with the fact that I'm here. But I do know beyond any reasonable doubt that being brought into this world was in the right thing. You see, I know beyond any reasonable doubt. I'm just here and I'm stubborn, so I'm just like, whatever. Like, I don't regret anything. It's fine. I'm here. Let me do what I want to do. And making videos is one of the things that I actually want to do. Talking about life, talking about things that people do not talk about, talking about things that people are afraid to talk about, things that people are afraid to think about. I love making people think. I want people to question everything. I don't want people to behave like robots. No, you got to think. You are here. You are having an experience and you don't know shit. So at least try to think and try to do things that actually make sense. What we must realize is that there is nothing that you can win in this world. Even if you have a lot of money, even if you have a lot of wealth, it doesn't mean that you've actually won. There's nothing to win. Even if everyone was trying to get something that you got, it wouldn't mean that you've won. What you must realize is that you are here trying to escape suffering. You're trying to escape the discomfort of life. you see, because you were brought here. And if you are able to escape the discomfort of life, like most of life's biggest discomforts, you think, oh well, that means that I've won. No, it doesn't mean that you've won. You know, it means that you've been trying to escape the discomforts of life, and you've been able to escape most of these discomforts. But that's it. You are still in the trap. You're still going to die. You're still going to be forgotten. You died the day you were born. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like, nobody gets to win in the end. And that is the truth. And that is what people must actually realize before they start lying to themselves. Before they tell themselves that, oh, some people are losers, some people are winners. There are a lot of people who are working very hard because they believe that there's something to win. You know, they believe that there's something to gain in the end. They spend years of their lives working. But really, what do you gain in the end? You end up working like a slave, while there's absolutely nothing to gain in the end. You know, some people are addicted to hustling now. Every day they want to figure out how to make more money. And it's not like that they spend their money on meaningful things, you know. They're just buying things that other people do not have. You know, you buy a new car. I mean, you already have a car. You buy a Bugatti, like Andrew Tate likes to say. You know, I got 7 Bugattis. So what? It reminds me of, you know, children that had many toys when we were young. Like, oh, I got this toy, I got that toy, I got this toy. They don't even play with these toys, you know, they're just bragging. Like, what do you need 7 Bugattis for? Why do you need 8 houses for? Like, what do you need 8 houses for? What do you need 18 bathrooms for? Why do you need 8 private jets for? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. That is why I told you that humans are just big babies. Like, there are no real grown-ups. They're babies, you know, they like toys too. They like to take themselves too seriously, you know, but really they like toys too. They love the things that children love. You know, they love toys, but they cannot play with the same toys that children play with. They need to play with bigger toys, but really they're just big babies. That's what I'm telling you, there's nothing to win. So, okay, you play with all these toys. What do you really gain in the end? Happiness? Do you become happy? Do you start to feel fulfilled because you have all these Bugattis? Remember what I told you in the previous videos? You'll be surprised at how easily your mind acclimates to new situations. You know, like, if your life can change right now and you became a millionaire, it wouldn't take that long for you to actually start feeling the same way that you're feeling. You'll get used to being a millionaire. All the things that you want, they'll lose value. You know what I mean? They'll lose value to you because now you have them. It's hard to appreciate things that you already have. If you got 2 hands, you don't wake up every day and be like, yo, I got 2 hands, bro. But let me tell you something. If you were born with 1 hand and something magical happened and you grew another hand and you had 2 hands, you'd appreciate that for a while. Like, oh, I got 2 hands, but it will get to a point where you're used to that and it's nothing to you. Understand? That is why I'm telling you there's nothing to win. You are just in a trap and you are trying to escape suffering. Each and every person that is here is trying to escape suffering. That is why people are competing. People are not even competing because they are interested in competing, you know? They're suffering. They say that misery loves company. Here's what that really means. It means that when you're miserable, you want to find yourself occupied. You know what I mean? Like, you want to be doing different things that are going to make you forget that you're miserable. It's not like people just want to become rich and start doing exactly what they want to do. That's not the reason. People just want to compete with other people. You know, like, oh, yeah, I'm rich now. But I can't allow someone else to be richer than me. So I must work very hard. You know what I mean? Like, we're slaves. That's what we are. Like, you never be satisfied. No matter what you get to have, you never be satisfied. You can have the world, bro. You can become God. You know what I mean? Like, find yourself able to do whatever and you still won't be satisfied. You can never be satisfied. You were never meant to be satisfied. You see, life itself is suffering. That's what you must realize. So there's nothing to win. There's nothing to win in the end. I remember what Tyson Fury said after he beat the guy that he always wanted to beat. I was like, okay, I beat him, and you know, I enjoyed the moment after winning. Like, yo, yeah, I beat this guy, but after a couple of days, I felt worse than I ever felt. Like, yeah, I beat the guy that I always wanted to beat, you know, but what did I gain? This reminds me of this other clip from Family Guy that I saw. It's a clip of this rabbit. It wanted to kill something. I forgot what it wanted to kill, but it's been trying to kill that thing for a while. Like, for many years, actually. Tried to kill that thing for many years, and it finally was able to kill that thing. It killed it accidentally. It's not like it knew how to kill that thing, but it killed it accidentally. And it was happy at first, like, oh, I killed it. Woo, 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 I killed it. But then it became lonely because it had nothing to do. Like, it wanted to kill that thing for too long, and it was finally able to do that. Then what now? It killed it. What should it do? It wanted to kill itself because, you know, there was nothing else to do. It became very depressed. I remember Jim Carrey said, I wish each and every person can have everything that they wanted, so that they'll realize that it's all meaningless. He says something like that, like if people had everything that they wanted, they'll actually realize that it isn't really what they want, you know? Like, they'll feel empty. Just think about it. Like, imagine yourself having what you want, like you having billions. Do you genuinely think that you would really be happy? I mean, yeah, at the time you'll be, like, if you won 80 billion right now, you'd be happy, but trust me, that will go away. You know, the happiness will start to deteriorate. You feel happy at first, but you know, you go back to feeling the same. It might take years, but you go back to feeling the same. Because you were never meant to be satisfied. That is why it's very hard for you to appreciate what you have. There are things that you have that other people would actually appreciate. I remember this other philosopher said, there are true tragedies in life. True tragedies. Tragedies. Can't even pronounce this word right. Tragedy. Having everything that you want, or having what you want and not having what you want. Because if you have what you want, you actually realize that you still feel empty. If you don't have what you want, you still want to have what you want because you believe that it's going to fulfill it. You know what I mean? There's nothing to win, man. So people just try to cope with life differently, you know. There are people who write books, you know, trying to cope with life. Like, oh, if I can find a way to express myself as honestly as I want to, I'll feel better. There are people who want to make music. Like, oh, only if I can make the #1 song in the country, I'll feel better. But in the end, you will never truly be happy. You were never meant to be happy. You were never meant to be satisfied. You were born in a trap. And that is why I talk a lot about antinatalism. I'm trying to make people aware. I'm trying to make people understand something that they were never meant to understand. Don't bring people into a prison, because this world itself is a prison, and it's becoming more apparent. You know, it's becoming more apparent. When you look at the way people are being treated, you see that, oh yeah, it has to be a prison, you know. We could have been getting better treatment from people who have real power, you know. They would have tried to do what is best for us as people. But they don't give a fuck. They're not happy. See, if you're not happy, it's not easy for you to do the right thing. Have you ever truly felt happy, you know? Even for a day, have you ever felt truly happy? Have you realized how generous you were when you felt happy? Like, you wanted to help people. Your friend calls you, like, yo, man, can you help me? Like, I have this problem. Like, yeah. Like, you want to help people. You want to elevate other people. You know, you happy, but if you're not happy, you don't want to help nobody. People can ask for something that you have that, you know, you're not even using, that's not even useful to you, and you don't even give them. Like, you're so miserable, you know, a bit, that you can't even help anyone. That's the thing. Like, the people who are running the world are not happy. That is why they're not helping us. Why should they make us happy if they're not happy? You see? Why should they try to make this world better if they themselves are not feeling better? So they're busy trying to get more for themselves, trying to compete, because at least they get to feel better for a while when they get the things that they want, you see? Because they're competing. Even if they have, you know, billions, they're still competing with other billionaires, you know? Competing with themselves. Like, okay, I made 2 billion last year. This year I'm making 4. Next year I'm making 8. You think people who are like that will give a fuck about you? Do you think people who are like that will be like, okay, I made enough money, and now I want other people to be happy, you know? I want other people to have what they want. I want the world to be balanced. I want people to have equal opportunities. I don't believe in a world where there is inequality, where some people have a lot of money and some people have nothing, because I know that it's not easy to make money You see, we need money to make money. You need money to go to school, you know. You need money to start businesses. Like, you need money to do anything. You need money to buy food. You need money to buy a house. You need money to buy a car. You need money to buy, like, you need money to do anything that you want to do in this world. Like, there isn't anything that money cannot buy. It is world, man, except for life itself, I guess. Money can buy good health. Money can buy friendship, you know. Can buy relationships. It can buy loyalty. It can buy support. It can buy wealth. So we need money. That is the truth. And yes, there are people who are suffering more because they don't have money. Doesn't mean that if you had money you wouldn't suffer, but you're suffering more because you do not have it. You know? What's being said on this video is that you can't really escape suffering. What's not being said is that even if you are broke, it doesn't matter, because even people who are rich are, you know, not happy. No, you can suffer a lot because you're broke. But what you need to understand is that there's nothing to win in the end. Even if you can have what you think you want, you end up feeling the same in the end. Because in the end, it doesn't even matter. Just like I've been telling you, that nothing really matters in this world. We've just convinced ourselves that there are things that actually matter, but that is not true. There's nothing that actually matters. What we must realize is that we're not doing good as a society. I understand that we are hopeful sometimes, like, yo, you know, things are going to change one day, but we're not willing to change. We cannot change the world if we are not willing to change. What you must realize about people is that they are not willing to change. You might think that people are willing to change because people who are not having the things that they want in this world think that if they had these things, they would do better. You know, they'll do better than people who have these things already. You know, there are people who believe that if they had money, they will help people who are poor. I was talking to one of my relatives about this the other day. He's like, you know, if I had money, bro, like, I would help people who are poor. Like, I would help a lot of people who are poor. And it's like, have you ever been in a situation where you had no money and you told yourself that, you know, if I had 1,000 right now, I'll do this and that. And then the next day you get 1,000 and you didn't even remember what you actually plan to do. Especially if you plan to do something that is actually good, something that is selfless. You know what I mean? Once you have money, you feel differently. You don't like really feel the same. So you feel exactly how these billionaires feel, you know? And you become like them. So you wouldn't really be helping people. You'll be helping yourself. That's what you must realize. Deep down we're all the same. What's making us different is how we've experienced life. Life programs us to think a certain way. But that can change. That can change at any time. Things can start happening differently in your life, and that make you feel differently. That's something that people must understand. So we're not changing this world. There is no hope. Hope is a disease. Hope is dangerous. It's a sickness. Because you suffer because of it. Tell yourself that, well, things are going to get better. Things are going to get better. Only if we can fix this problem, things are going to get better. You fix that problem and things still don't become better. You still end up suffering, and other people still end up suffering. You don't realize that things were never meant to be better. So no matter what you do, things will still be the same. You can never end inequality. You can never end slavery. You can never end poverty. This world is supposed to work the way that it works right now, because it's a prison, you see. You try to end slavery, well, it's going to take a new form. It's going to take a new form. You think you're not a slave now? What you must understand is that people who are rich are becoming richer. The more we work as slaves, the more they become richer. They're the ones that are actually making money. You're not making shit. You're just surviving. The same way that slaves were surviving, They were working for their masters, and their masters were able to become wealthy because of them. Because they were the ones that were doing the actual work. See, you're working for the rich. And because you're working for them, they become richer. And when they become richer, they make it harder for you to actually make money. They make it harder for you to free yourself, because now they have more power than they used to have. You see? So you're never, ever getting rid of slavery. This is slavery. It just took a different form. And you're not conscious enough to realize that this is slavery. So you're never ending slavery. You're never ending inequality. Black and white people are equal. Black and white people are equal. Money talks, Black people are still suffering like crazy in South Africa. Nothing changed. You're like, oh yeah, we ended the apartheid government. Nah, nothing changed. There are still a lot of things that black people do not have access to, that white people at the time had access to. You know what I mean? Money, everything is hidden behind money now. They just make it seem like, well, you're just not working hard enough, and because of that you don't have money. If you had money, you will be where we are, But it's not easy to make money. How do you even make money? There are many young people in South Africa who are unemployed, and they don't know what to do. Then they weren't even taught the right things. Remember what I told you? Human beings are programmable. They've been programmed to only rely on getting employed. We gotta wait for people to employ us. They don't know what else to do. They're not business minded. They weren't programmed to depend on each other. They weren't programmed to work together. Remember, since we were kids, we were programmed to compete. We're programmed to compete, not to help one another, We didn't even want to see people doing better than us. I remember when I was in grade 12, I cheated in this other test. I cheated, and this girl reported me. I was angry. I know what you're thinking. Now, yeah, you cheated, so yeah, she should have reported. Like, no. Remember, there was nothing that she's going to win in the end, and she was not reporting me because she cared about me. She's reporting me because she was competing with me, and she felt like it was unfair that I would perform better than her. You know what I mean? Because we've been programmed to compete. And besides, it's not like the education system is good. We're just being indoctrinated. You just have to memorize a bunch of stuff, and that doesn't make you intelligent. You don't become intelligent by memorizing a bunch of stuff. They're just trying to turn you into a robot, really. So okay, you memorize a bunch of stuff and regurgitate all this shit, but really, what does that help you with? What have you learned at school that actually helps you today? Like, they teach you nonsense, like complete nonsense. So yeah, we can't really free ourselves because we've been conditioned to hate each other as black people. Black people hate each other in South Africa. Black people do not support each other in South Africa. Like, you start a business as a black person, they're not gonna support you. They don't even trust you, even if you're intelligent, even if you know what I mean. That's how it works. And what's crazy is that back then we used to work together. Like, back then we used to work together. Back then you wouldn't go hungry. Back then there were no homeless people. Black people helped each other back then. If you didn't have a home, they would adopt you. Let's say your parents died, they would adopt you. Things weren't expensive. People worked together. But yeah, now we're divided because of how we've been conditioned to think. And they will say that, oh, it's your fault. Black people believe in Christianity now. It's their fault. No, it's not. I mean, yeah, that's stupid, but I can't really I get it. You see, I get it. I know how hard it is to wake up after you've been brainwashed. I was a Christian too. Just that I was a bit crazy, Sometimes to really free yourself, you gotta be crazy. You ain't gotta be too normal. You see, people who are too normal are easy to program. People like me are unpredictable. You don't know how to program people like me, and that's why I was in like other Christians. I was questioning things. Like, hey, so you mean to tell me that we're going to hell if we don't accept Jesus as our Lord? And it's like, no, that's wrong. Why is that the reason why people actually deserve to go to hell? So you don't believe that Jesus was the Son of God and you must go to hell? Don't you say there's something wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. Jesus died for our sins. Blah, 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 blah. What the fuck is wrong with you people? What you must realize is that this is nonsense. Like, once you become woke, once you become conscious, you realize that this is nonsense. It is nonsense. What's happening in this world is nonsense. It's a joke. It's one big joke. And some people can't deal with this shit because of how conscious they are. You lie and say they're just depressed, they're losers, they're just not participating, they're just complaining, blah blah. Like, no, actually, this is just trash, and people know that, they're conscious enough to know, okay, this is trash, like, this is not working, and we're not gonna gain anything in the end. Because they are conscious enough to realize that. You're not conscious enough to realize that because you're too distracted and you've been lying to yourself. You see the problem? The truth is, something is definitely wrong. Easy. Something is definitely wrong. The world isn't what we believe it to be. That's what you must realize. You've been lying to yourself a lot, and you've been lied to a lot. You see, since you were little, you've been like, they lied to us, and that's what they needed to do to be able to control us. That's why most of y'all can't even think for yourselves. You see a person like me thinking for themselves or living life differently, and you feel like they're doing something wrong, and you feel like you better than, you better than them, because you're complying, because you're doing exactly what you've been programmed to do. No, you're not. You're not better than a person who's able to think for themselves. Yes, if you're going to think for yourself in this world, your life is not going to be easy. Your life is going to be harder, because you are able to think for yourself. You don't belong in any cult. You see, you are yourself. You are your own king. You are your own God. You're not going to be given things because you're not supporting this system that already, runs the world. You're not supporting this system. You have realized a long time ago that something isn't right. So you can't support this system. Sometimes when I see kids going to school, I'm like, I genuinely feel sorry for them. Like, I wish they could realize at a very young age that something isn't right. So even if they do continue to go to school, but they don't allow themselves to be indoctrinated. They don't allow themselves to be conditioned to think a certain way. There's this other video that I saw on TikTok last year where they put flies inside a bottle and put the lid on top. Kept them there for like 2-3 days. When they removed the lid, the flies couldn't fly out of the fucking bottle. They couldn't. Even after they reproduced, they couldn't fly outside the bottle. Why? Because they were conditioned to believe that they shouldn't. You see? They probably were telling themselves that, oh, it is wrong to fly outside of this bottle. It's wrong. If you fly outside this bottle, you're going to die. What you must realize is that human beings are not different from other organisms. You are programmable. They can tell you that something is... Listen, if you lived in a society where they told you that it was wrong to say the word nigger, I mean, okay, we live in a world where they say white people cannot say the word nigger. It even feels wrong to say the word nigger, right, if you're white. But is it really a big deal? Is it something that should still be a problem right now? If you grow up in a society where they say it is wrong to question religion, they're going to hate you. They're going to hate you for saying, I don't know, I don't think Islam is true. Here's what I don't think is true. I'm going to hate you. They're going to say you have demons. They're going to say you were sent by the... You know what I mean? And you want to survive. So what do? You conform. Because you realize that, well, that's the best way for me to have what I want. If I don't conform, I'm not going to have what I want. So let me just conform and see what happens. So believe me when I tell you that human beings are programmable, and we've been programmed since we're little to think in a way that does not help us progress as humans. And those that are able to think in ways that can help us progress, we hate them because we're programmed to hate them. We've been programmed to go against those that are different. They are a threat. because they're different, because they think differently, because they feel differently. They're a threat. We don't really understand them. Something is wrong with them. No, they are crazy. Even if what they're doing makes a lot of sense, we would rather convince ourselves that these people are crazy. You see? To understand the world, you must understand how your brain works. You must understand consciousness. You must understand yourself. You ain't understanding this world if you don't understand yourself. There are a lot of things that we think are wrong that are not wrong at all. There are things that society is saying are wrong. I don't even talk about these things because I'm like, they're not ready. But there are things that society is saying are wrong that are not wrong, like at all. I look at people and be like, damn, man. This is my last incarnation, right? There's no way I'm coming back here, right? Because I don't want to be here with these people, bro. Like, I want people who are smart, man. You can't you can't imprison me with people who cannot think for themselves. People that you can just program to think a certain way. There's no way that I want to be in a world like that. It's depressing, I want to live in a world where people are free, where people say things that are rational. To me, it's not about what I prefer, There are things that are true that I don't like, but just because these things are true, I'm like, hey, that's the truth. To me, it's not about what I prefer. That's what some people might not know about me. It's not about what I prefer. It's about what I think is true. I don't give a fuck what the truth is. You see, I don't just look at what I prefer. Like, okay, this is, I prefer that I wasn't born. Right? I prefer that I wasn't born. Therefore, I'm going to become an antinatalist and say that it is wrong to have. No, that's not how I think. I actually ask myself, why does it make sense, really, for me to bring someone here? Looking at what is going on in my life. No, it doesn't. Does it make sense? Would it make sense if I had this and that? Not really. There's still some philosophical problems that we're not really addressing when it comes to having children. So I start to understand that and realize that no, we can't be reproducing like we're crazy without really understanding what the fuck is going on, without understanding life. Especially if there are people who are saying, no, we don't like this. And we're keeping them here even if they do not like this. We're like, oh, well, just go and hang yourself. That's basically what we're saying as a society. If you don't like this, just go and hang yourself. No one is assisting you. We're going to lie to ourselves and tell ourselves that it is right for us to force you to be here. And we're going to tell ourselves that, if you hang yourself, you did something that is wrong. We're the ones who are right. You know what I mean? Of course, you should never encourage anyone to do something like that. And that's what I keep on telling people. But we've also created a society where that's the only way out for some people. It's like they don't know what else to do because they just want out. And you are forcing them. You see? You're like, no. You can't be assisted. You know what I mean? And then they end up blowing their brains out and you complain again. You don't realize that you're causing the problem in the first place because of your ignorance. To create a society that actually makes sense, we must care about the truth. The foundation of that society must be truth. We mustn't be hypocrites. We mustn't be biased. We must care about the truth. You cannot say that we are a real strong society that's not hypocritical if we don't assist people who are genuinely saying they need help to actually exit this realm, and then complain if these people blow their brains out. You know what I mean? Like, something is wrong. We're like, oh, we're trying to fix these people. These people are this and they're like, hey, you cannot fix everyone. Besides, there are many people, you know what I mean? You cannot fix everyone. It's not like if you allow people to, or if you assist people who actually don't want to be here, something bad is going to happen. There are a lot of positive things that can happen. You know, some of these people can donate their organs. Some of these people can help the poor, you know. Some of them have money. Be like, you know what? I want to donate the money that I have. I'm done. I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like be here forever. I'm good. You know. Let me just donate money to those who still want to be here. Let me donate my organs to people who still want. You know, like, there are a lot of positive things that can happen if we decide to become. I mean, we're not gonna decide to become smart because, you know, we're animals, fucking animals, bro. I mean, unless the people who are in power figured out a way to benefit from, you know, allowing people to exit peacefully. Because it's about money. You know, that's what you must realize. There's a reason why weed is illegal in many countries. It's about money, man. It's about money. If the government cannot make money through that, then fuck it. They're not gonna be like, hey. If companies cannot make money through, you know what I mean? It's about money. There's a reason why shrooms are illegal, like almost everywhere. I mean, maybe everywhere, really. I mean, it's like there are many doctors who have said that, yo, microdosing does actually help cure depression. Like, it's something that's known, you know. But yeah, they still need to be illegal. They must just give you pills that are approved. Approved by who? You know, who gets to approve? You must realize that we're selfish, and we will always be selfish as people. You know, we'll always look out for ourselves and not give a fuck about other people. And we don't give a fuck about other people. That is why there is inequality in the world. If we did give a fuck about other people, there wouldn't be inequality in the world. That is why you want to help the people that you care about. You want things to be better for them. So if the people who are at the top really care about us, they would want to help us. But they don't. They care about themselves. That's why I was telling you that we can't save this world. We can't change this world unless we change ourselves. And we cannot change ourselves because we are exactly how we're supposed to be. We were supposed to be selfish. And even if we weren't really supposed to be selfish, I guess we evolved to be selfish. How do we change that? You can see how the education system is busy making it harder for people to work together. It's making it harder for people to become close to one another. These kids are supposed to be divided from the beginning. If a kid fails and that friend goes to the next grade, they are not friends anymore. You know, even the teachers will be like, you can't be friends with those that are in grade 8 if you are in grade 11. They're going to hold you back. You can't be friends with people who are not doing anything with their lives. If you have money, you can't be friends with people who don't have money. They're going to drag you down. You know, you see, we're being programmed to become more selfish than we actually are. I mean, we are selfish, but we're being programmed to become more selfish. So we don't help one another. And that is why things can only become worse. That is why people who are rich are going to become richer and become more powerful. They're going to become like gods. That's why I was telling you that slavery has not ended. It just took a new form. And now it's much easier for slave owners to control us. Like, they literally control everything, you know. You think people who are rich, if they wanted me gone, they wouldn't be able to get rid of me very easily, and no one would even know? I mean, money runs the world, man. They just pay some people and be like, yo, go and get rid of that motherfucker. We're tired. We're tired. We're tired of that little motherfucker. And they'll take me out. They'll even pay my own people to take me out. See, because money runs the world. So I genuinely feel sorry for, young kids, man. Genuinely feel sorry for them, being brought up in a world that doesn't care for them, and they think, oh, this world is good because their parents will be telling them that this world is good, their teachers will be telling them that this world is good, protect them from the truth. I genuinely feel so, because when we were young, we were happy because of what we believed about the world. We didn't know it was, fucked up. We thought, when I was young, I actually thought we cared about one another as people, I didn't think we were this selfish. As you get older, you're like, wow, what the fuck? As you get older, you realize that, hey, people are not what I thought they were. I mean, they're not going to tell you the truth at school. They won't. They're not even allowed to. They'll just lie to you. Lie to themselves. Like, oh, they're children. They're not supposed to really know how the world works. They're not supposed to really know how bad things are. Now things are really bad. In South Africa, man, lots of young people are unemployed, bro. All the guys are dating younger girls now because they want money. They're broke. They want money. They don't know how to make money. They don't even date their peers anymore. They date older guys because they want money. They don't date their peers because their peers don't have money. And when they do date their peers, they want money. So your peers have to, try to make money. And they won't even be able to make enough money. You find that the little money that they make, they have to give it to their girlfriends. So things are becoming more and more fucked up, and there's nothing we can do about it. You just decide that you're not going to bring your children to participate in this because there's nothing to benefit in the end. There's nothing to benefit in the end. So every day I become more proud of myself to have realized that I shouldn't bring anyone here. Each and every day, the more I see fucked up shit happening, the more I'm like, yeah, I was right the whole time. I mean, I can change my opinion at any time. It's not like my time is past, But nah, man. If you're smart, you can't be making babies unnecessarily. There's no reason for you to make babies. You can just decide that, nah, no way, let me just enjoy my money, let me just enjoy my time, let me just do my own thing, let me just chase my dreams, let me do what I want to do. I don't have to raise a baby. I'm not obligated. There's no religion that says if you don't make babies, you're gonna go to hell and burn for eternity, or you're gonna get killed, or you would have sinned. You're not obligated to make new people. You're just doing that because you're just programmed to do that, really. We're programmed to be selfish. We do what we want to do, without really looking at the consequences of what we're doing. As long as these things are legal. That is why some things are illegal, because people will just do these things. So yeah, there are things that should actually be illegal, but there are things that are legal that should actually be legal. Thank you all, guys.